We got a brand new episode of the Broad and Forever podcast. I'm your host, as always, Shamus Clancy, Deputy Sports Editor at PhillyVoice.com. I am joined by my guy, Zo. Zo,
Yo, bro.
playoff season, baby.
The best time of year, man. January, February, and then April and May and June. Really, the playoffs time in every sport. Always fun, man. I'm excited.
Saturday of Wild Card Weekend, for me, is the way that a lot of people, I think, view that Thursday and Friday of March Madness.
Yeah.
Typically, that gets me going.
Yeah.
And specifically this year, I lucked out with my work schedule. Obviously, the Eagles are on bye. That makes things a lot easier for my workload this week at Philly Voice. So I'm off Saturday. So I can absolutely not friggin' wait for Saturday.
Yeah.
Man, one of my funniest stories I remember with this was just when we really like bullshit around with your friends. It was 2016 Wild Card Weekend. That Saturday. That was the game Dak played. That was Dak's first playoff game against Rodgers, and Rodgers had that miracle pass to the tight end down the sideline, and then they had the game-winning field goal. And I remember the Chiefs played earlier in the day, and just being nitwits, me and my boy Joe, we wore Priest Holmes jerseys for the game, and then we went out afterwards to brew and Priest Holmes jerseys, and it wasn't even one of those big Charlie Saloon type things. We were just like, Eagles are out. Let's have some magic. And then next year we watched the Eagles are on bye again. That's 2017.
Yep.
We're completely deflated. Think everything's over. And we see that's the Mariota game against Kansas City that he blows and he throws the touchdown to himself. And then at night, that's McVay's first of many choke jobs at home against Mount Ryan. And we're all rooting for the Falcons because I think that was a lot more winnable than that LA team was, even though the Eagles had beat them earlier this season. I wanted Atlanta. I wanted Matt Ryan at the link, and we got it. And obviously worked itself out there.
I thought that Rams team was, I didn't want.
I mean, with the Super Bowl the next year, they were good,
and they were primed. I can't say that I wanted to see that Rams team. I think we all thought the same thing, that the Falcons would be a lot more admirable in terms of what we were trying to accomplish, and they were. Like it obviously it was a serendipitous game. The knee bounced her around the world, and
oh my god, it's so false, man. I did on Philly Voice today, recording this Wednesday afternoon. You can check it out on there. I did a ranking of Howie Roseman's 15 best free agent signings. Split it up a little bit. Did some Pro Bowlers at first, guys who weren't on the Super Bowl team. So I have Evan Mathis, Connor Barwin, and then current guys like James Bradbury, Javon Hargrave, and Hassan Reddick, obviously, who's a stud. Then I did a bunch of the Super Bowl guys. I value I know I'm a winning over everything guy. So that's Pat Rob, Torrey, Howie just hitting left and right on all those players that year. Like Garrett Blunt, just one of the coolest friggin' Eagles ever. And then talked about, again, Torrey Smith on there with that magical knee play. And then obviously I did a little link in the video, in the article to the flea flicker against the Vikings.
It's just super. I just feel like that that run, that team, they had a lot of magic. This year's team is good. I don't see the kind of magic that team had. I don't mean it in a bad way. I just mean like that team, 2017 team, just had so much like
monkey's paw shit. It didn't make sense.
Like monkey's paw, like lucky shoe type stuff that is written in the storybook. This team this year has just been better than
it's just a good football team. It's just a great football team. Sometimes it can be that simple.
Sometimes it's really that simple. They've been better than 14 of the teams that they played against. Like it just really is that simple sometimes, and we've seen both sides of it. And we're about to see, what that turns into for a team like this. But I think that, we're gonna compare. The cool thing about sports and being around, or having the opportunity to see your team make it to at least the championship round, is you start to compare all the other good teams to that. So like we're going to compare every good Birds team from 2018 on is going to be compared to that Super Bowl team. Like every Phillies team is compared to that, to 2018. Like every Sixers team is compared to the '01 team, and like so on and so forth. I think that's cool. I do. I think that you're a sports historian. Like I think that it's needed for purposes of just gauging like what kind of stuff that those teams had. Like,
Yeah.
I think it's a very, very cool and introspective thing to do.
Want to run through some picks for this weekend's games, give a couple takes.
Yep.
Saturday, first game, a little bit of a stinker. We have the 7 seeds Seattle Seahawks, who had a strong start to the year, fell off a little bit. Geno's magic kind of wore off a little bit. They were heading to San Francisco, who apparently with Brock Purdy are now the favorites to win the NFC, who, we're pretending that guy has 5 starts to his name and was missed a 7th round rookie it's just magic. I get that roster is stacked. I get that Kyle Shanahan is one of the best offensive play callers in the league, if not the best, up there with Andy. And I think kind of the magic Sirianni and Steichen and working together has to put them up there too this year.
Yeah.
But I think that's a game that's a little ugly. That makes sense as the first game of the weekend. Yeah. San Francisco 10-point favorites. They are a automatic teaser team for me this weekend.
Yeah, me too. I like pulling for Geno. I think it's a great story.
I mean, if you're an Eagles fan, you'd want Seattle to win, because if Seattle wins, you have Geno Smith coming to the link next week in this rinky-dink Seattle team. And I think there is an extra element, not necessarily for the players or the organization, but for the fans, with the way for the since that Lofa Tupu game, the Seattle has kicked the Eagles' friggin' teeth in with Pete Carroll and Russ, and there's playoff games, there's crushing regular season games. Smacking them, I think, would be awesome for Philly.
Will be a ton of fun. Do I have faith in them? No,
I can't.
I think that San Fran, they're tough, man. And I know I texted you this, but they're playing the best football out of anybody going into the playoffs. Maybe outside of the Bengals. The Bengals are healthy, and Joe Burrow looks like he's back to his self again, and outside of them, I think they're playing the best football of anyone. But I do think that this is going to get ugly quick. They're definitely a teaser team for me. So I think that they're probably going to win by 2 touchdowns easily.
I think that's honestly would be a bigger upset than the Beastquake game.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Because the Saints would have been the defending champs, right? And they were home.
Yep.
They're on the road here, and I think the 49ers team is better than that Saints team. I think that would be one of the bigger upsets I've seen ever in the wild card round.
Mostly because they are the 49ers are very good, but they're also now everybody's darling.
The tide has turned too much. I am getting a 2017 Minnesota Vikings vibes.
Yes.
This is they're doing this, they're going on this run, this, that. They got CMC, just too much.
I would think so. We're gonna get into it, but yeah, I'm getting too much of the tide turning toward them. I do think that I would probably I'm waffling back and forth on who I would worry more about. The Vikings are so they have a ton of monkey paw shit going for them right now. They're the way they win games. They're probably gonna beat the Giants by a Hail Mary this weekend. So I'm waffling back and forth on who I would pick as the biggest threat to come into the link and make some noise. But I think that everybody's darling is going to take care of business this week at least.
The night game, without a doubt, my favorite game of the weekend. We have Los Angeles Chargers and social media quarterback Justin Herbert visiting Jacksonville Jaguars and the bumbling buffoon head coach Doug Peterson, who's the worst coach to ever win a Super Bowl, one of the worst coaches in NFL history, takes over a toxic franchise with the worst record the last 2 years, makes Trevor Lawrence look like a true number 1 overall pick, future Pro Bowler, future top 10 quarterback. Really, they are 2-point dogs at home. Doug Peterson, home underdog, playoff underdog. Doug Peterson has coached 6 playoff games in his career. He's 4-2 in them. Has been the underdog in 5 of them, 4-1 in those underdog games, and 5-0 against the spread as a playoff underdog in his career. I already crushed Jack's money line, and depending on how I feel Saturday, have a couple ice cold Kenwoods in me. Our sponsor, presenter, Kenwood Beer. We love you guys. I might hop on it again. I did a little. Not a parlay, just a single prop bet. I did Christian Kirk anytime touchdown. Last week on the podcast solo show, I gave out my first lock in a while. I had Christian Kirk adjusted receiving yards 90+ in Jags money line. That hit. So I will say, let's roll with it again. I will say a Christian Kirk touchdown. And Jags money line parlay is my lock of the week.
Yeah. They're a tough team, man. I know.
The defense is good, man. Josh Allen. It's a shame with his name. If he had a different name, he'd be looked like as a fringe all pro guy. I think
the defense is real. They're good. They play hard. They're fast. I think Doug is going to do his best to coach up that offense. I don't think that this will be a shootout. It's weird, right? The Chargers are so fucking weird, man. They are. They'll score 40 one week and then 10 the next week. They're just such a weird football team. I think that everybody's waiting for Herbert to make that, to have his Burrow and Allen moment. And he's very young. He's still very young, but I don't know. Maybe it's this weekend, but I really don't know how to grade them, man. I'm actually more confident in the Jags, to be honest with you. I feel like Doug Peterson is going to have the Jags coached up and ready to rock. I don't know if I can say the same about the Chargers.
Herbert hasn't accomplished anything more in his career than Trevor Lawrence has. He's had some better statistical seasons last year, and as a rookie, he was really, really good. He won Rookie of the Year. But really, he hasn't won a division yet. I know the AFC West is a lot different monster than the AFC South, but first playoff game on the road, that's pretty hard. We saw that with Jalen Hurts last year. We see it all the time. First playoff game and you're at home under a coach that's been there before, has been an underdog before, has reached the promised land before. Gut check time, high leverage situation. I'm taking Doug P over Brandon Staley. He's such, like, the Chargers are such that team, like the smart NFL Twitter, like, Brandon Staley does it again. Brandon Staley's speech. Brandon Staley gets football.
It's how the Rams used to be.
Oh, if Justin Herbert was the NFC, he'd be the MVP. He'd win this, that, everything. It's fucking football, man.
The Mike Williams disrespect, blah blah blah. Like it's always something with the Chargers. Like, Staley's just too. Staley just needs smarter players, or look how he's got them. Look how he's got them guys.
It's the offensive coordinator,
right? Offensive coordinator.
Why the fuck is he the offensive coordinator? So what does that say about Brandon Staley? What does that say about Justin Herbert that they're not letting him throw the ball down the field? Obviously, he can do that. Right. He's unbelievable talent, but right now he is QB3 of the 2020 draft class. I think unquestionably
he can stand in the end zone and toss it almost to the other end zones. Incredible talent, big arm. But the fact that they don't trust him and throw the ball deep, like that tells you more about the quarterback.
It's weird.
Yeah,
it's weird. And we're not plugged in there the way we know about the Birds. We're not living it through it every day, so I don't know everything. But weird team, weird organization, and they kind of have always been this franchise. I don't know if it's an ownership thing.
Right.
Always an uber talented team that just not mesh well, is not coached well, and falls apart in the postseason. This has been there since Breeze was there, since LT was there.
And I get the flu shot every year.
We're getting that flu shot?
Yeah.
Started after I got the booster.
So we're setting that up.
We're setting that up? Good. I'm glad to hear. Sunday. This game is pretty deflating for the first game in the sense that we have Dolphins at Bills, 1:00 game on CBS on Sunday. Buffalo was a 13-point favorite. Obviously, there's some off-the-field stuff that's important in DeMar. I don't know if they'll try to get him at the game, if he'll try to get a message about him at the team. I'm sure that would really rally the troops. And I can be a cynical motherfucker, but them taking the opening kickoff back last week was really freaking cool.
That was super cool, man. I do, regardless if you believe in or what higher power I believe in, I think that a team coming out just motivated to show out for their teammate, their brother, a guy that they love, and who, 4 days before almost lost his life, is incredible motivation. I don't even know what that looks like. I just know that I didn't think for 1 second they were going to lose that game. Like, so I can't see myself picking against them anytime soon, man. I think that they just have one. Before any of this, they were already a damn good football team.
Oh, yeah.
They are tough, man. Ed Oliver and that defensive line, like the second you can throw against them, like the second, like, Poyer and those guys, they lapse a little bit. When I say throw against them, I mean like minuscule. Like this is literally like you can throw like this against them, but like you can still do it. But like, man, I don't trust Tua at all against
well, he's out. They said Skylar Thompson starting.
Oh, Tua.
Get to the. I really feel bad for Tua. This isn't like a concern trolling thing. I really think he shouldn't play football anymore. I think the league, they won't, but there's so much stuff going on because he's, was a big time college player, first round draft pick, flashed this year after, having some up and down starts to his career. But being completely serious, I really, really don't think that guy should be allowed to play football anymore.
No.
Especially with everything that's happened over the last week. I know it's a little bit of a different injury situation, but man, it's rough. It'll be rookie Skylar Thompson at quarterback. That takes a lot of juice out of this game, and similar to the DeMar thing, I can't look at this Dolphins team and not think about what Tua was looking like in 10 years.
Right. Yeah.
But for just games purposes, that's kind of a clunker, and I guess that's why it's the 1:00 game. I would expect the Bills to roll.
But yeah,
it could have been a fun game. It could have been, if Tua was healthy and have all these concussions, maybe he's out there throwing bombs to Waddle and Hill, and it's a high scoring affair, and maybe gives off some vibes that iconic Chiefs Bills game from last year. It could have been something like that. But I think I get why that's the 1:00 game. It seems like something that'll be over at halftime. Sorry for NFL fans, and again, some bigger shit going on. 4:30 game. Got some thoughts on this. On Fox, Giants at Minnesota, 6-3. Giants are 9-7-1. Minnesota is 13-4. Vikings are 3-point favorites. A week or two ago, when we knew the Giants were locked in the 6th seed, it seemed very clear that Minnesota was going to be locked in the 3 seed.
Right.
Super upset potential. I was all in on that.
Me too.
But my issue now is I've been in on that so long. Everyone, not that they're copying me, but the discourse around this has maybe gone so far the other way that everyone is picking the Giants.
Yeah,
that line's, you have 3-point. You're a 3-point favorite at home as a 13-win team. I know some of the shit's fluky. We use the luck thing. A bunch of the record in one-score games is really unsustainable. But I know they're going to be like, hey, we're a home team. We won 13 games, and everyone is picking this other team that has never been through anything before. Cousins has won a playoff game before. He's been around for a while. Justin Jefferson is probably ready, salivating to cook them up. I'm still taking the Giants. I still will pick them to win straight up. I included them in a 4 or 5 team teaser I did earlier in the week.
Yeah,
getting ready for this weekend. But I think that'll be a good game. I think that comes down to the fourth quarter. I think they played them well this year.
I think that'll be a fourth quarter game. I think that one of the things that'll come down to for me is honestly who can get a stop. I think there's gonna be a lot of scoring in that game. Neither defense is like world beaters, so and you can score against both. We've seen it, with the Eagles playing both of these teams. But I think it'll come down to whoever can get a stop and control that last 3 or 4 minutes, because I'm with you. I think it's going to come down to that. I think it's going to come down to that last stanza of the fourth quarter, and whoever can get that proverbial strip sack or fourth down stop is going to win. It's going to be good though. It's going to be a really good game. Maybe the game of the weekend, to be honest.
8:15 game, NBC. Some weird feelings on this game. We have the 10-7 Ravens going to Cincinnati to play the 12-4 Bengals. I have absolutely, positively no clue what's going on with this Ravens team. I don't know if it's Lamar is going to be starting, if someone else is going to be starting.
Yeah.
Do you ever see the videos of that guy Stavros on Instagram, that comedian? He used to do Come Town.
Yeah.
He's like really heavy set Greek guy.
Yeah.
And if you're listening to this, go look up the guy on Instagram, Stavros, comedian. I've seen him perform live before. He was freaking hilarious. But he's from Baltimore and does these Ravens reaction videos after every fucking game. And I didn't realize till now that the Baltimore accent is this mid-Atlantic accent that shares some similarities with the Delco accent. So it does sound familiar. And he's just like really heavy set guy, shirtless, super hairy with a Ravens hat on. Be like, we fucking suck.
So, that's actually really good. That's a really good description of the accent. It's like It's a minute.
It has that like Joe Flacco.
Yeah.
Like, Joe Flacco. This would have never happened with his veteran leadership. But
it's actually very perfect. That's perfect. That's a really good way of saying it.
But they're funny, and I'd love to see what happens, win or lose this weekend. But Cincinnati's a 7-point favorite. I don't know who's quarterback for Ravens. I am going on record now. My Super Bowl prediction is Bengals versus Eagles. I don't have a future on that. I have a future on Eagles Jaguars. I have a future on Eagles Bills, Eagles Chargers. But right now, I'm thinking the way they're playing and the faith I have in the Eagles, I'm going Eagles Bengals Super Bowl.
I like I love the Bengals. I loved them last year. Do I think they can beat the Bills? Yes, I think they do. The offensive line still scares me, but I think maybe I think they have enough to beat them. I would say my pick was my initial pick was Eagles Bills.
I have a. If the Eagles beat the Bills in the Super Bowl, I win $1,000. If the Eagles beat the Chargers in the Super Bowl, I win $2,000. If the Eagles play the Jaguars in the Super Bowl, just the matchup, I win $900.
Just a match. Yeah.
Oh, remember that dumb bet I did? We talked about before. I had a 70-cent free bet, and it was Eagles to beat the Ravens Super Bowl. So if it's Eagles versus Ronnie and the Ravens in the Super Bowl, and they beat them, I get $70. So I got myself covered.
Lamar's like, Lamar's like. It's funny. I was listening to another pod, another non-Philly pod. Philly pods we play, but like it's a national one that doesn't need our help. But
sure,
they were saying is Lamar quiet quitting? And it made me crack up because I was like,
maybe
honestly, the points made were very, very good. Like he's taken way longer to come back from that knee injury than anybody expected. Fucking Harbaugh is like, oh, I'm only coaching who's here. So that's like, I listen. I have no. I'm like you. I have no clue what the hell's going on in Baltimore, or who their quarterback is going to be on Sunday. So regardless, I'm still picking. I'm picking the Bengals, but it's going to be. I don't know what the hell's happening down in Baltimore right now.
Yeah, it could be a stinker, or it could be a situation where it's Burrow versus Lamar, and it's a great game. So we'll see. Then Monday night, this is the second year of the Monday night game, right? Last year was the first one. The Rams played last year.
Yep.
We have the 12-5 Dallas Cowboys heading to the swamps of North Florida to play the Tampa Bay Buccaneers 8-9. Dak versus Tom Brady. This was the Sunday night opener this past season. Or earlier this season, I should say, week 1. Dallas currently 2.5-point favorites. I have thrown Tom Brady in one of my magical teasers. What do you think about this one? Dak Prescott, who I think we had the Wentz versus Dak debate, and obviously Wentz lost that handedly. And I thought that Dak was always a little bit better than Eagles fans gave him credit for.
Yeah, sure.
But he is playing the worst football of his career. He led the NFL in interceptions with 15 in only 12 games.
And I was going to say he missed.
He's a pick six machine.
Hey, the dude is, man, he looks about as topsy-turvy as you could get. Like he'll have a 3rd and 30 throw, and then he'll throw a pick 6 the next play. Like
he's only fire if he's playing Gannon, and I really like Gannon, but you had to make that joke.
He has it out for Gannon, exactly. I don't know. It's literally right before this. I was watching a TikTok where it was the NFL's TikTok, and they had Brady mic'd up talking to his receivers, and he said that and they were like, "Yo, are you 6-0 against Dallas?" Like, this is obviously right after they found out that he was playing the Cowboys. And he's like, "Are you 6-0 against the Cowboys?" And Brady's like smiling, saying, "Yeah." And they were like, "How did you know that?" And he was like, "Oh, I looked it up this week when we like." So I don't. The dude, as much as weird a year he's had, I find it hard to ever bet against him unless he's playing against Brandon Graham.
Do you know how pissed off he is to have the first losing record of his career and have a home game as an underdog? You know that he has. I'm not going to check it because it just can't be true. He has never been a home underdog in his career, and I can't imagine there were many games, playoff games in his career total, where he was ever an underdog.
A home dog, a losing, a year where he lost a ton of football games and where his prowess was put into question, where people literally said, "Is this it? He's washed. He's overboard." I can't imagine the guy doesn't come out and just try to take their heads off. And again, if this is the last one, if this is the last ride, you'd be hard pressed to find anyone who's who's got enough chutzpah to bet against them. Definitely at home.
Yeah, absolutely.
And this might be. I don't know. This is another year of that Dallas team being just another like mercurial, just like who the hell are they? I don't think that for all the dogs on that defense and all that stuff, I don't know if any of them have it in them to send Brady into the sunset. I'm not confident in that at all.
Yeah. So do you have any big picks for the weekend? Anything you're on? Anything you're thinking about?
So we're gonna pick our playoff Jawn roster, but I love Joe Burrow having a two plus touchdown game.
Okay.
I've been looking. So obviously doing our research. I think that our quarterbacks of the weekend are going to be Joey B from the AFC, and NFC is a little but I feel like Danny Dimes might have a good day against that Vikings defense.
Yeah, I could see that. I'm in on T-Law. I have a weird situation. I looked it up. I think the Chargers are top 5 or top 10 in rushing yards allowed. And
I think it's top 5. I think it's top 5 now.
Doug gets away from running games sometimes. He does some goofy shit sometimes.
Yeah.
ETN, I could see having a nice game, I think. And anytime touchdown score with that, I think is nice. I'm definitely going to cook up a larger Jags parlay. Maybe FanDuel do some alt rushing and receiving yards, alt passing yards on there.
Yep.
But I did to do a tease I could pull up in a sec. But I'm excited, man. This is great.
It's gonna be fun, man. It's gonna be a lot of fun.
Yeah, and I do like the Monday night. I do like the Monday night a lot.
Me too. I like the Monday night. Monday night's gonna be good. Because I know we talked about it last year. Literally, it's gives you something to look forward to. It's a fun. Like there's no more college football. There's rarely a big, NBA Monday night.
What a college football game on Monday. Motley wins again.
Motley wins again, dude. Motley, he is as prophetic as they come. And next year, Penn State's already top 5 in a lot of preseason polls. So he's gonna be revving to go next year. But listen, we talked about it before the playoff even started. Kirby Smart has them humming. That is a team that was probably going to beat anybody by that many points. Michigan would have gave them a better game, obviously.
They're the new standard. They've topped out.
They are. And shout out, no offense to anybody. I don't think you don't have to offend anyone to say that. They're just the new standard, man. All it takes is a good 5 years of recruiting. Like he's beating people with guys who are 3 years in. It's not like he's taking freshmen and coaching them up. Like he's doing that too. But a lot of these guys, like Jalen Carter is a junior. Like these guys are ready. They're ready as freshmen, but by the time they're juniors, they're winning national championships. So like that system is working for them. And it's crazy. I mean, you look at that defense now, which is not even close to as good as it was last year, statistically at least, and they're probably going to send 5 dudes to the NFL this year. Like it's the turnover and the next man up mentality. So shout out to them, man. They certainly earned the repeat, which is extremely tough to do in college sports in general. But it was as much as a dud it was fun to see Mattress Mac lose 300.
Oh my god, yeah, that old wrinkly fuck.
It's so funny when I had Bleacher Report had posted the picture of him after the
what the fuck is up with the Bleacher Report following him around thing?
So weird.
I blocked Bleacher Report betting on Twitter because I was fucking sick of it during the World Series. And I unfollowed them on Instagram.
I need to know what stake he has in them because all I do is
That's a good point. That's a good point.
And every reply to it was, "Oh, he's on TCU. Go Dogs!" Like every single reply was, "Yo, I didn't know this guy was on TCU. Go Dogs!" Everybody, it's great that everybody on the Mid Atlantic hates him. I love it.
Oh man, I really love it. That guy, just the worst type of freaking person.
He really is.
Just the worst
person. Like just someone who, not even into sports, just into the fact that he can spend, millions of dollars.
I think he even like sports. I don't know.
That's what I'm saying. Like even like that's where it was all about. Exactly.
All right, want to get the playoff, John?
Yeah, let's do it.
You want to give an explainer?
So shout out to our guy, Mike Meach. What is this? I didn't check.
See, this is the 12th year.
Yeah, we're going to say 12 stands out. This is the 12th year of the Playoff Jawn. This is personally my 4th year playing. Actually, no, this is my 5th year playing. I actually won in Super Bowl year. I won so this is my 6th year playing.
What Eagles players did you have?
Super Bowl year I won. I had I can go back and tell you. I had Zach Ertz.
Okay.
Zach Ertz was my tight end. My winning quarterback. I'll give you one guess who my winning quarterback was.
I'm trying to think who was was it Roethlisberger?
It was Brady.
Brady, okay.
The Super Bowl is what did it. I was up 4 points on the guy behind me, and I don't remember who it was, but it's definitely a Philly Twitter person. And whatever, I forget, I think what the 480 that he threw for was what got me over the top. I was on my last legs too. Like I had lost everybody. I had Ertz and I had Brady. And
do you remember who your flex was for the Super Bowl? For the NFC?
It was definitely you know what? My flex was it might have been, hold on.
Was it Clement?
I have the email
before the Super Bowl, and this is before this legalized sports books. So I was using like an offshore thing, local collector and all that. Yeah. So it
was Corey Clement. My flex was Corey Clement.
Dude, I had him. I took him Super Bowl MVP odds because I was like, I don't know what Foles is going to fucking do.
Right.
Plus 4,000. I'm watching at Loller's house, and we give each other a look after he catches that miracle touchdown. I'm like, because he had the crazy run. He had 125 yards from scrimmage. Yeah. I was like, and I had already had a crazy Eagles future.
Right.
From the previous March where they shined Alshon and it just broke from Shefty and they hadn't changed the odds yet.
Yeah.
And I got it like plus 10,000. I got them.
Right.
For $25. So I won like $4,000 and I was
ridiculous.
Unemployed at the time. Yeah. Obviously met a lady that I was into shortly after and had some money to take around town before I got a full-time job.
It worked.
Yeah, it worked. Thank you, Nick Foles. Thank you, Corey, coming.
So Playoff Jawn, for those for our listeners who've never played or aren't in the know, it is essentially a variation of fantasy football only during the NFL playoffs. It starts wild card weekend, and then again, our guy Meach runs it with a buddy of his. It's a massive undertaking. I mean, we've seen together we've seen the pot grow from a couple $100 to I think last year the winner won $5,000. So it most likely it'll be probably in the 8 to 9, maybe even 10 grand range this year. I mean, a ton of people play. It used to be email invite only, just so he could keep his work down on it. But now that he has someone helping him out, there's an opportunity for everyone to play. So like people are inviting, their buddies to play. And it's a really fun time, man. It's a really fun, I think it's what I look forward to aside from everything else, is what I look forward to the most during playoff time is being part of it, just seeing, what teams people got and, how they got to pick those players. And it's really awesome, man. I mean, I'm excited to play again this year. Excited for us to do one too.
Yeah, so unlimited entries. I have a solo one I'm going to put in. So
Yep,
we'll put in a couple. Zoe and I are going to do one, and I picked one with Lawler Monday night. We linked up for the national championship. So 14 playoff teams. You need to pick a player from each team for one of 14 positions. There are 2 quarterbacks, 5 running backs, 5 receivers, a tight end and a kicker, 1 player from each team. Then each week for the NFC and the AFC, you have a flex player. You cannot reuse those flex players. They cannot be one of the players in your original line. Want to get after it? I'll make a note. I have my original team, and then change it. Another note on here: Zoe and Shame team, QB, RB. What's our philosophy?
I think we should. I think our philosophy should be, we should pick with our hearts, pick with our heads, not our heart.
That's very
cool.
hard.
Like we gotta be. It's got to be it's really we got to take the Saban approach. We got to pick with our heads, like whoever we think is going to get us the most opportune position.
What do you think? What's the easiest thing to start with?
QB definitely, yeah.
So you got to go Mahomes.
You got to go Mahomes. That's picking with our heads. You got to go Patty Mahomes first, and then NFC. Are you thinking Jalen?
I'm worried he's not going to run the ball.
So my only concern with Jalen is what you just brought up. I don't think he's going to run the ball as much. He already said that he's still super sore. I just don't think they want him running as much. I don't think he's ready to run as much, which is 60% of his game.
How about Burrow?
I was going to say, wait, do we have to pick one from?
You don't have to pick. No, they could both be the AFC, but obviously, they could play each other next round and then
they could play. Yeah. So, yeah. Let's do it.
What do you want to do for kicker? You want to do Tucker because you're trying to pick for the kicker.
We should definitely do Tuck. Yeah.
Okay. And now, since we're not using Allen, I think he'd be a big quarterback usage. I think we go Diggs for wide receiver.
Yes,
for Buffalo.
1,000%. Since we're not using.
I think for Birds, you got to go receiver. You think Brown? You think Smitty?
I like AJ.
Let's go AJ.
Yeah.
Okay. So we're filling this in here. Philly. San Francisco. You thinking Kittle tight end? CMC?
Oh, I was just thinking about this. I really like CMC.
All right, CMC. Let's go. Seattle. I can feel a Tyler Lockett.
Yeah, he's their best player. Absolutely.
Who else we got here? New York Football Giants. I think that's everyone will have Saquon, but that's that's what you have to do.
You have to take. Yeah, everybody's going to take him. So yeah.
Baltimore Ravens, interesting one.
They are.
We have Tucker already. Sorry, we already.
Yeah, never mind. We're good. And they cut Deshaun, so we're good.
Minnesota. Got to be Jefferson, right?
Got to be Jefferson.
Got to be Jefferson. So we have some running back holes here. We have one more receiver left. Pulling up the playoff team now.
We still got
running back. Do you want to? What about? We talked about the Chargers' run defense. You want to go with ETN?
I was going to say we can go ETN.
And then conversely, we have the Chargers. I think that's. I made the argument that Austin Eckler is the greatest fantasy football player ever, and that's and the rationale for that is LT was the best fantasy player ever, but he was obviously a Hall of Famer. His thing is he's so much more valuable, I think, in fantasy than in real life. He's known for fantasy. He's not necessarily known for being a star. So I think we go Eck.
Yeah, I'm on board.
Chargers. So we have 3 more spots left.
To be a Tampa Bay player too, right?
Yeah, got to go Evans.
You got to go Mike Evans.
That's the whole team.
We need a Dallas player, and we have running back holes, right?
We have 1 running back, 1 tight end, so we need 1 Dallas player.
Tony Pollard.
Yeah, I'm thinking Pollard. I really like him.
I know they've been
he's a Cowboy.
Yeah, I know they've been heavy Zeke. Like he's got the swift disease because they get down to the goal line and they give it to Zeke instead of just letting him, get be the bell cows. But I still think Tony Pollard is their best home run threat. So
We have to go get Gesicki for the Dolphins team. I think you're going to have to punt on the Dolphins game regardless of what you do, right?
yeah, I agree
because they're in such a shitty team. Like I got to look at like the target share. Like I got to look at their stats real quick. I don't know. I feel like they stopped throwing him the ball, but you're kind of a team like that. You're a little jammed up.
Yeah, because they like.
What about this? You go Tyreek at wide receiver or Waddle.
Yeah.
And then you put Hawkinson as tight end.
All right. So if we swap in Hawkinson, I would probably go with Waddle.
Yeah, I'm into that. Waddle, Miami, tight end. Flex, NFC, AFC. I think since we just took him out, the NFC flex has to be Justin Jefferson.
Gotta be JJ. Yep.
And you also kind of want to look at for flex a guy you don't think you're going to need to use in the Super Bowl. You want to have a stud that you're going to use right away.
Yeah.
And normally I think Tyreek's the best player we haven't used. But I don't think they're going to be able to throw enough with Skylar Thompson out there.
Me neither.
Yeah.
I would say that
Do we want a Gabe Davis? Do we want a
no? Gabe Davis is going to get the rock for sure.
Davis, Buffalo. Just one. Yeah, I like that. That.
Yeah, I'm very pleased with that. I think that's good.
So let's run it down real quick. We have quarterbacks, Mahomes and Burrow. Running backs, CMC, Saquon, ETN, Austin Eckler, Tony Pollard. Wide receivers, Diggs, A.J. Brown, Jalen Waddle.
Yep.
And then we had, what swap did we make? Took out him. Getting confused. What was our tight end range? Oh, I jammed myself up. Who did we switch out for wide receiver and tight ends?
We took out Hawkins. We traded.
We have Hawkinson at tight end now.
We took out Gesicki.
Yeah. So then we took Waddle. We have him in there. We're missing someone. I messed up.
Hold on.
Chargers, 49ers. You have Lockett is who I'm missing on here.
Lockett, yes. Lockett. That's who we just talked. Yes.
Yeah. So those are our 5 receivers. Diggs, 1, Brown, 2, Waddle, 3, Lockett, 4, Evans, 5, TJ Hawkinson, tight end, Justin Tucker at kicker. Flexes this week, Justin Jefferson, Gabe Davis. Money. Free money.
Here we go.
Anything to plug?
RiceRickySanchez.com/newsletter. Also last week, I know you saw the guys did a really cool interview with Tobias Harris.
Yeah.
He's a really cool dude, man. I think that he, listening to the interview and just hearing his side of things, the guy's been thrust into a position where he essentially had to relearn how to play his position, and he's taking it all on the chin. So rooting for him, man. Like until I personally think he's a guy who's going to be here until his contract runs out. So I think we should want him to to be the best he can be. He's a good person for that locker room. And so I encourage everyone to watch the interview. He's a very, very cool dude. He answered some really, really tough questions from the guys. So man, RiceRickySanchez.com was the interview. RiceRickySanchez.com/newsletter for the corner 3.
I love it. I love it all. All right. Talk next week. We'll know who the Birds are playing. Hell, maybe I do a Sunday podcast if Doug P pulls off some magic, get us going, and maybe we even know who the Eagles are playing at that point.
Maybe we know. Yeah, exactly. It's
all right.
Wild card weekend, baby. Anything can happen.
Wild. As Charlie Kelly once said, wild card bitches.
Wild card pitches.
All right. Follow me. Zoe has all his newsletter with Rights to Ricky Sanchez. Obviously, you can look at my work at phillyvoice.com. Plug in some things. Had some good stuff going this week, and we'll continue to do so. Peace.